Hey, what's going on, guys? Lang Plays here, back again with another video talking about Watch Dogs Legion Bloodline. This is my honest review. I mean, we're just gonna dive right into this right away. But so I'm gonna kind of split this video up a little bit. I'm gonna save one. We're gonna start out with the storyline, then I'll talk about the characters, and then my honest thoughts and opinions on it, graphics, things like that. But the first thing I really want to talk about is probably gonna be the main story. So the main story, I think, is always like the important focus of every game, in my personal opinion, especially single player games. I think they are what drives the game and keeps you focused, you know. I mean, to keep you playing, honestly, right? Because you want to know what happens, shit like that. So, honestly, I didn't think this game was going to be as good as I thought. I knew it was going to be a DLC, you know. I didn't really think it was going to be 6 hours long. I thought it was going to be a little bit less, like T-Bones. I think T-Bones in Watch Dogs 1 was what? I think 3 or 2. I think it was like 2 to 3 hours, something like that, for T-Bones DLC. Bad Blood, I believe it was, right? The DLC was called. And this game kind of surprised me with that. It was like 5.5 hours for the main story. I mean, there's a lot of great parts of this game, too. Just starting off as Aiden Pierce right away, and definitely switching to Wrench later on, which is cool. Even though his part was kind of short, you didn't really do much as Wrench, mostly just saving Aiden and things like that. But I think Aiden's part of the game is hands down the best thing ever. I'm glad that everybody welcomed him back, too, because I noticed that a lot of people really didn't like him during the first game, and now everybody just absolutely loves him now. I mean, when the game first came out, what, I think 2013, 2014, right, of May? I remember people were just like hammering on this game, saying it's dog shit, it's a GTA wannabe for Watch Dogs 1, and honestly, it proved to be what it is now, right? It's its own standalone game. I think there's a lot of issues with Watch Dogs Legion, but I think this kind of makes up for it. I think if these two characters were at launch, this game would have been a totally different... I mean, even with the bugs beside that, right, I think this game would have did a little bit better, sold well. I don't mind the NPC thing, but it just doesn't work, because you can't, like... I guess you could say get a grasp on any characters, because there's no storyline for any of those characters, right? You don't really care for them. It's just like, oh, here's a spy, here's this and that. Like, you know, there's like these sub-tier class levels, and they're not even that decent. I guess like the only ones that were even decent in the main game were the spy and the hitman. But when you have Aiden Pierce in here, he has a lot of cool abilities anyway, especially that hacking ability. I forgot what is it? Like he just turns everything off. That's pretty cool. I guess it's kind of like his blackout mode type in this game. I mean, I definitely missed that. That was a really cool part about Watch Dogs 1, especially at night in Chicago. Especially when you're getting screwed or something like that, when you're like doing a criminal convoy at night or something. But with the main story taking like 15 years after the first game, and obviously they changed the timeline, Ubisoft, I don't know what the hell they're doing. They're saying Aiden Pierce is 40 years old now in the original game when he was 39. I don't know what happened there. But he's 55 years old in here, which is really cool. I was surprised he could still kick ass, honestly. It's kind of funny. Yeah, I mean, we do see his ass getting beat a few times. One by Wrench. I mean, basically when he's captured, I guess we could say he got his ass kicked. But, I mean, it was really exciting to see Aiden back. I mean, I really hope they do a second and third game with him. I mean, he has a lot of potential left. I feel like he gets a little bit too much hate, but especially now since he's back, I think a lot of people love him a little bit more. And he's just very exciting to use. I mean, like, just the guns he has, everything like that, the combat takedown. You already know, like, this guy's a badass as soon as you see him, right? And the trench coat, as soon as you get that back, it's just an awesome feeling. I mean, it's a little bit different from the first one, I believe. I think it's a totally different trench coat, but I mean, it's still fun to have. I mean, it feels like Watch Dogs, you know, like the original game. And I think that's what they definitely struggled with the second and third game. I mean, the characters are just like so unlikable in the second game, in my personal opinion. Except Wrench. Wrench was a really cool character. I mean, I don't like the dead set groups they keep trying to tie into. I really hope they don't do that in the next game if they don't do an Aiden Pierce type game again. It's just not really fun to have like a big group and just not get anything done, it feels like, you know? I mean, I don't know, I really do think, now thinking about it, he's not just like a sunshine and rainbows type character just because he's dark and brooding and he has a lot on his mind and he definitely feels bad for, I mean, basically he takes the blame of his niece's death, obviously, right? But it's just my personal opinion on that. I mean, there's so much you could do with this character. I mean, we know he goes to Canada and then he goes to St. Louis, but getting back on topic. This is why I gotta start writing my videos out, you know. But I want to talk about, like, this basically felt like the old Ubisoft games, right? Where it's just very linear and you just beat the story. That's all that really matters, right? Where you're just focusing on the story and not worried about that side mission bullshit, right? And I think that's what Assassin's Creed like is doing now, where just like it's too RPG. And this game has like no RPG elements really, except maybe the character health, I guess you could say, or the enemy health. That's the only thing I really noticed more than anything. But this story has just been, it was just better than the main campaign. I love that. Aiden Pierce is such a unique character. You have Wrench, and there's a lot of cool things they threw in here. I'll get to that in a minute, but I want to say is that Aiden Pierce, you know, is like a more likable character than any other character we had in a long time. I mean, especially since what? I think I want to say, what? I think probably Watch Dogs 1, maybe Watch Dogs 2. There hasn't been any good characters in the Ubisoft world since this first game. and they definitely improve upon that, and I love that. I mean, there's like so many different things you have to work. Like, you know, you have the Mark One robots. They're really cool to fight. You have to overheat them and then like shoot the back of the battery basically and pull it out, one of the two. That was really interesting. They actually had really good writing, I gotta be honest. The dialogue was really perfect. There's nothing cringy. I mean, there's actually some funny moments with Wrench. I really didn't think he was gonna be a pretty funny character at the point. I mean, we have Aiden and him. Those conversations are just hilarious, him and Aiden. He's like, hey, I know you and whatnot. But man, I wish this is like the main game. I think that's what it struggled with in the main game. It's just like the writing and some of the people's like obviously there's fake accents going on, right? They had some voice actors that had terrible English accents. I mean, I don't know what happened there, but obviously it's awesome, right? There's a lot of cool mechanics I want to say as well, and especially with the combat. I noticed Aiden's combat in this game is just amazing, especially Wrench. Wrench had a really cool hammer. I really didn't think I wanted to use that so much. Like any chance I could get, just using Wrench's hammer, I was using it. I mean, his combat tool was amazing. Same with Aiden. Having a baton back felt cool to have. His takedowns were awesome, especially his gunplay takedowns, and you get combat focus right away. They brought that back from the first game. I really didn't think that was going to like be in here, the combat focus. I didn't even hear about that in any of the trailers. Maybe I wasn't paying attention, but that was really cool to have. They're just putting out the fan service for like all the fans from the first game, basically, in the second game with Wrench. Like Wrench, you only got to play with like one part of the game. I believe you got to use his grenade launcher. You saw Wrench Jr. back in here, which was really cool. And then you have like his I think I want to say the robot thing he has, like the cargo thing, is called Joyce or something. That was really cool. And then one of the side missions later on, if you actually complete the full thing with Wrench, you actually get I think he calls it Jordy or little Jordy or something like that. The little robot sits in the safe house with Aiden and Jackson. And another thing I really want to talk about is their gadgets. I wanted to talk like Aiden's gadget, just having that little spider thing that flies is just awesome to have. The spider drone. I really hope they bring that to the main game. It's not in the main game right now. They could definitely just bring it in there. I don't think it's that hard to copy and paste it and throw it in there. Hopefully without any bugs, right? But I think that was something really cool and unique. I really didn't know how to use that in the beginning, and then obviously maybe after like 2 to 3 more missions, it's pretty simple to use. Then they added a lot of cool little Easter eggs, and it felt like I was playing Evil Within at that one part of the game. Like this mission, I don't know what it's called. I think it was like Bury the Dead here or something like that. But it was just so cool. It reminded me of Evil Within. I thought I was playing that in like Silent Hill. I think there's a little Easter egg to that. Silent Hill PT, the one that Norman Reedus was supposed to be in. And I talked about that in the video, but my audio didn't get recorded, which is bullshit, you know. Still trying to learn the PS5. But then, like, the one cool thing we actually got to see was like the crash site of Lena's death, basically, or Aiden's niece or Jackson's sister, which is really cool. We got to see that. Got to see Nikki there. And nothing really happened too much there. I thought we were actually going to see her in this DLC. But nothing. We didn't even hear anything really about her except that one cutscene where Aiden and Jackson were talking about that, like what happened. And I just don't understand like why they didn't really mention too much. I kind of want to hear a little bit, just a little bit. We have Jordan Chen that came back. I don't know what really happened, but they didn't bring the voice actors back from the first game. And the character models look a little odd. I don't know if it's just because of the next gen or something like that, or this current engine they're using. But yeah, hands down, I definitely love this DLC. I mean, I definitely say 1 to 10. It's probably going to be a solid 8.5 to a 9 for me. It's very enjoyable. You have very fun side missions with Aiden and Wrench. I gotta say, there's a lot of unique skills they have. I didn't think they were going to be as fun. We got that one mission, like I just said, Bury Your Dead Here. That was probably the best mission, hands down. Enjoyed it. But other than that, let me know your thoughts and opinion on this DLC. I absolutely loved it. It makes the main game better, basically having these characters there and actually having someone that's really cool. And other than that, thank you guys for watching. I know it's kind of like a offy type video, you know, it took forever trying to gather my thoughts. But other than that, thank you for watching. I'll see you next video. Peace.